Okay, so we're going to finish off the first day's notes here. There's only 2 questions left. All right, so we're looking at finding the surface area of a 3-dimensional shape. And that was, we got to find the area of each side of the shape and add all those areas up. And that's the process we went through. So when you are going through this, you should go through the process of first thing, just count the number of faces. When you use the word face, it just means the side, right? Side of the object. So when you're adding it up at the end, you can make sure that you got every single side. That's the easiest thing on this thing, is to miss a side. So looking at this shape here, this tent-looking thing, it's a triangular prism, it's called. How many sides are there to this shape? Or how many faces are there to this shape?
5.
I'm hearing 5. People agree? All right. So we have this triangle here, front and back. That's 2. We have this side. We have its mirror on the other side. So that makes 4. And the one that most people do forget is there's a bottom to this as well. Right? So there's 5 altogether. Right? So once you figure out how many sides there are, how many faces there are, we calculate the surface area of each of those sides, faces. Then we simply add them up to find the total. Okay? So let's just label the sides. And so I like using A, B's, and C's. So I'm going to go for my first side as here. Is an A. Okay? And we have 2 of these, right? One in the front, one in the back. So I'll just write down 2 times A here. And I'll start the calculation. Okay? So once we identified the side, we have to figure out what shape is it. So what shape is it? Triangle. And we look, and remember, you don't have to memorize the formulas for these, so you just go back to your previous page, or you look up on the board there. What is the formula for a triangle? So we go, it's half 0.5 times your base times your height. All right? Yes, Abby? Yes, you may. I'm not. Okay.
I need one.
Go ahead. So, off of the diagram, what is, so the formula is base, 0.5 times base times height. What is the base?
4 centimeters?
Yeah. Right. Base is the distance all the way along the bottom, or right? What is the height of this triangle?
5.1.
Lachlan says 5.1. Do you
no.
agree?
No.
3.2.
3.2. All right. Remember, the height is the distance between the base and the opposite vertex, the corner. All right. So now practice using your calculator. All right. We plug this in. We go 0.5 times, I'm going to move this over, times 4 times 3.2. All right, so just don't look at the screen here. This is where students make the mistake. It's not just setting this up, it's just using your calculator. Right? That's the scale you need here. So that's 6.4. But we have 2 of these, so we get our answer, and we need to double it because it's 2 of those sides. So we times it by 2. What does that equal? And so times it by 2, we have 12.8. Okay. Okay. Next side. I'll switch colors here. I'll call it here, B. All right, so how many sides on this thing do we have that are identical to B? Is it just the one, or is there two? Yeah, there's two. You have this side of the TP and the other side of the tangent of the TP, right? So we have two of these. So whatever we get for our answer for B, we're going to multiply by 2 at the end. Okay, so what shape is this? Yes, Gordon?
There's 3 sides. There's 2 at the top and 1 at the bottom.
Yeah, but the bottom one is not the same size. It's the same shape. Bottom is a rectangle as well. If you look at this, this top one, or the one we just highlighted here, this side is how long?
7.2.
No?
5.1.
5.1. And this is 7.2. Right? So if I just took this and I drew it off to the side here, this is 5.1 and that's 7.2. Right? The one off the bottom here, if we drew this one, how would that look like? Okay, this side here, I'm highlighting here right now, is 7.2. Okay. Then the other side of this is right here,
3.2. Oh, wait, no. 4.
4. Right? So we'll call this side C. All right. Now, depending on how good your visualization skills are, you may not need to draw them out. I've done lots of these, so I don't need to draw it out. But if you have a hard time visualizing these things, you can draw out each side. When we are doing the assignment, I'll show it over here. I've left, like I didn't draw it out, but I left a little grid here to help space for you to help draw it out if you do need it. It's not necessary, but if you need it, go for doing it that way. Okay, so B, we have a rectangle. It's 5.1 times 7.2, which is equal to,
Wait, wouldn't that be length? Wait, times width, right?
yeah.
So wouldn't 7.2 be the length?
It doesn't, the order doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
Right? You can be finicky with which way you put it down, but at the end of the day, when you're multiplying, order doesn't matter. Like 2 times 3 is equal to 6, but 3 times 2 is also equal to 6. Right? So when you're multiplying, the order doesn't really matter, so we don't have to worry about what's the length, what's the width. So we go 5.1 times 7.2, which is equal to 36.72. 36.72. Right? And we need to take this and we need to multiply it by 2 because we have 2 of those. And I'll multiply my answer by 2. And it's 73.44. So I'll just go 73.4 to 1 decimal place. All right. Okay. Then the last side, side C. How many duplicates do we have of this side?
1.
Yeah, 1. So we don't need to multiply by anything. Right? We're just going to calculate the area of this side. So it's a rectangle. So it's length times width again, right? So we have 7.2 times 4. You go 7.2 times 4. And hopefully you get 28.8. Okay? And there we go. So now the total is all of our sides added together. So, oops, I didn't switch over. So we have this number, this one, and this one. All three we have to add together. So 12.8 plus 73.4 and 28.8. Oh. And what does that equal? Right, so practice this on your calculator because that's where your errors are going to happen with this. All right. How do you store numbers in your calculator? Or how are you writing things down? Right? So the answer is 115. And what should the units be for this shape? Right? Yes, Gordon?
Centimeters squared.
Centimeters squared, right? So they tell you centimeters on there, but for the one dimension reading, and so surface area would be centimeters squared. Okay, last one. Then you get to practice on your assignment. Yes? Yeah? Okay. So we need to start identifying the shapes, right? And make sure we got all of them, right? I'll just start with the top one I see here. I'll call this A. It looks like a rectangle to me. How many of these rectangles do we have on this page? The exact same size. What do you think, Gordon? Two. Yeah, I would agree. We have one right here. The other one is this side of this house looking shape here, right? That's where the other A is. Okay. So now, if you prefer, you can draw it out, right? So what do we have here is we have, where should I draw it out? Maybe I'll just draw it right here. Tiny little A. Okay. What are the dimensions of this rectangle? How long are each side? How long is this side and how long is this side? These rectangles length times width, so we need to know both of those information. So what are those two numbers? 25 and 52, did you say? Okay, close. I think it's just your reading there. It's 2.5, there's a decimal there, and 5.3, yeah. But yeah, you got it. So 2.5 here and 5.3 there, okay? So we're saying there's two of these, so 2 times A. So length times width, 2.5 times 5.3. What does that equal? Grab your calculator, make sure you can do it. 2.5 times 5.3 is 13.25. The trick comes to the next part is, hey, how do you easily double it in your calculator, right? So you times it by 2 because we have 2 of these sides. We end up with times by 2, 26.5. Okay. Does anybody see another side that they want to work on next? What shape do you see that we haven't already accounted for? What else do you see on there? Yes, Lachlan?
The triangle?
There's a triangle here, so we'll call that side B. Here's a triangle. Okay. How many of these triangles do we have, Lachlan?
Just 2.
2. One on the front side or the left side, one on the right side. So I'm going to go 2 times B. We're going to find the answer for B, and we're going to multiply it. Right? So for the area formula for a triangle, we need to know what the base is and what the height is. Right? So off the diagram here, what is the base and what is the height? Yes, Gordon?
The height is 2.5 meters?
The height is 2.5? No. So 1.0. So 2.5 refers to this right here, Gordon. That's how long that side is. The height is the distance from the base to the vertex. So that's going to be 1.0. You're right, Mohammed. And what's the base? How long is that base? Yes, Ethan.
4.2?
4.2, yeah. So most people understand the process. It's just digging out these information. Make sure you understand how to read the diagram. All right. So the formula for a triangle is 0.5 times your base, which is 4.2, times your height, which is 1.0. So we go 0.5 times 4.2 times 1 is 2.1. And we said that there's two of these, so we're going to have to double that number
4.2.
to 4.2. I'm going to highlight that. Okay. Any other sides left that we haven't accounted for? Right? Yes, Gordon.
The side of with the big rectangle, the one we counted for first.
Sorry, this one or this one?
That one.
That one, right? So Gordon's saying, hey, we'll call this the front face and we'll call it side C. Okay, how many of these do we have? Yeah, yeah, we have two of these, right? We have it right here. We also have it right over here in the back. All right, so let's just draw out C here. Make sure we know what the dimensions are. Okay. So for a rectangle, we need to know what the length and the width of a rectangle is. So what are the dimensions that we have? Yes?
5.3 and 2.2.
Yeah. So 5.3, which is right here, and the 2.2 right there. Okay. So length times width, and we said there was two of these. So length is 5.3 times the width of 2.2. What does that equal? 5.3 times 2.2 is 11.66. And we said there were going to be two of these.
23.32.
23.32, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay. 23.32. All right. Okay. I'm going to go for, let's see, maybe I'll switch to gray next. Okay. Any other sides that we're missing?
The longer.
Yeah, the one that's going towards the back. We'll call this side D. Okay, let's draw out side D here. Okay. What are the dimensions of side D? It's a rectangle, so we need to know what the length and the width is to do the formula.
4.2.
Yeah. So Mohammed says 4.2 and 2.2, so 4.2 in this direction and 2.2 in this direction. 4.2 and 2.2. All right. And how many of these do we have, Lachlan? Two. All right. So we're going to calculate the surface area for this.
For this one, does it matter which one we times first, or is it
Nope.
one of those ones?
When you're multiplying, the order doesn't matter. It's just when you throw an adding and subtracting, that's when the order starts making a difference. But these are all multiplying. So you go 2.2 times 4.2 is 9.24. And we said there's two of these. Oops. So you times it by 2. I'm not times by 0. 18.48. Okay. Are we done? Thank you. Is there any other sides that are left?
Will we do the bottom on this one?
Yeah.
Is there always a bottom?
Isn't there still the one to the left of the square? Like the left
The left over here,
side? Yeah.
that's the other side of the D. Alright? Yes, Alana?
Oh, I was gonna say what I'm saying.
So, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, so we have the bottom, and there's always a bottom, right? Unless it's sitting on a piece of ground or something like that, they show it on a piece of ground. So you imagine this object is floating in space. And when you say surface area, you're saying that all the sides that are exposed to basically air, right? So we have this side here, and we'll call that side
E.
E. Okay. What shape is E?
Rectangle.
Yeah, it's a rectangle. Okay. So for surface area of a rectangle, we need the length and the width. What's the length? What's the width?
5.3 and 4.2.
Yeah, 5.3 and 4.2. Right? So let's switch to.
How is it 4.2?
Yeah, we'll highlight. So 5.3 is this direction here. It's easy to see, the 5.3 there. Then we want this direction going this way. Well, there's no number here, so we look for a matching side that has a number. So up here, it says 4.2. So that, I didn't turn to black, is 4.2. So we have 5.3 and 4.2. Okay. Okay. So you have side E, and how many did we say we have side E? Yes, Gordon?
We're just trying to calculate the bottom now?
Sorry?
We're just trying to calculate the bottom now?
Yeah.
Didn't we already do that when we times A and B by 2?
No. A is different, right? A is this side of the roof. If you think of it as a house, that side, right? So that the timesing by 2 just counted for this side and that side. When we doubled B, we did this triangle. And triangle. At no point did we do the bottom, right?
22.26.
So and there's only one of these, right? So we have 4.2 times 5.3, and what did it equal?
22.26.
22.26. Or maybe I'll move it right here. So it's all in line with all the numbers for when we add it up. Right? So now we want the total of all these. Right? So we add all those numbers up. So we go 26.5 plus 4.2 plus 23.32 plus 18.48 and plus 22.26. We end up with 94.76. So let's do the one decimal place, so we 94.8. And what unit should we include for this?
Centimeters squared.
Nope,
Oh, wait, no.
Meters.
Meters.
meter. So we have a meter, so a meter squared. Excuse me. All right, and that's it.